Good evening. I have a question for Mr. Cesare. To be honest, I'm living already almost 20 years in Netherlands, so I didn't pay enough attention for the young generation creating and making the new movies on the Polish scene. And I was actually very touched by the subjects you actually want to share and expose to the communities all around the world. And wondering at the same time, where comes that idea from? Why that difficult subjects actually related to the older generation of people who've been through the communism, or problems like the society not accepting all kinds of human beings, I will say, like dealing with some problems and issues like in the second movie. Where comes that idea by so young guy as you?
Well, thank you very much. I think we're all the same, and we feel love in the same way. So we have to tell the stories not through the lens of disability or something that is like, a color of your hair and a color of your skin, because I truly believe that is something like that when it comes to disability. And I wanted to share this love story with people to feel like it's a pure love. It's a very simple love story. And thank you very much.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for that. It was really nice to see it. I've got a question. Whenever I watch a Lowski movie and the movie that we just watched, I was really touched by one question that the main character, Bartek, right? He asked his mom, he's like, "Why are you so cold?" And also in Kieślowski's movies, we see that the characters, especially Polish characters, are having some difficulties to express their emotions, especially when it comes to love, in between families as well. And I wonder, how do you see that transaction between older generation and younger generation? Because in the movies, there is we see that the younger generation is more expressive compared to the older generation. And I wonder, what do you think of that as a filmmaker and as a daughter of a filmmaker? How do you see it?
Well, it's an interesting question, because it sounds like true. Actually, I never thought about it, but I'm a middle generation, probably, because I'm between my father and you. So for me, yes, I think that the generation of my father had problems with communicating emotions, if you think about it. But I don't know if it's a question, it's a thing in Poland, or it's a thing in general, that older people were different, were more, I don't know, had more boundaries that they wouldn't, want to cross. I think that now it's different. The younger generation is definitely more expressive and more open and more free to say and to feel whatever they want. But you have to say, as a young generation, what do you think about it?
Maybe they were ashamed of some things, I don't know. But we always, I think it's the key thing for us is to build this bridge between in those generations to communicate, and that's a very interesting question, wow.
But you know,
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know, because my children are probably your generation, they're 24 something, and they are much more free and much more open about life and all the, you know, difficult problems that can happen in life. But at the same time, when I observe them with their boyfriends or with their, you know, friends, there is much less real real communication at the end. They know very little about themselves. I think that I spoke with my friends for hours, for example, for like, I don't know, 8 hours on the phone when I was 20. They don't do it. They just write something. You know, it's communication. They talk about everything, but the conversation, in my opinion, are still quite I don't know, you know, restrained. Maybe because they are mostly written on the phone.
We maybe have like the bigger picture than you at my age,
Yeah.
because of the social media and
Of
stuff
course.
and the internet. But at the same time, it's so, this bigger picture is so overwhelming. You'd
Yeah.
like to hide yourself in a suitcase and try to survive somehow.
Yeah, because the world is open for you, right? You know everything about everything, which is true because you observe people from all around the world.
Yeah, and you have to cope with their emotions as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a complex thing.
Yeah, it's.
1 second, let me run around.
Hi, thank you both for coming. I have a question for Ms. Kieslowska. I really love your father's movies. I haven't seen them all, but I think from the Decalogue on, quite a lot of them. And his movies come to me like they're quite humanist, but also he has this profound belief in chance and connectedness of people.
Mhm.
And I was wondering, is that something that he put in his film, or was he like that as a father, or as a person as well?
Like what? Like.
Well, like this belief that we all belong to each other. There's something that connects us all without us
Love.
maybe realizing it. Love, yes, of course.
I guess he was. I mean, he was very, you know, observing people very closely, and I think he was. How do you say that in English? Where you actually accept. When you accept, not tolerant, but understanding. That's what I wanted to say. He was very understanding. And I think that it's a very generous, you know, character when you can see all the bad things that we do to each other, and in the same time you believe that we somewhere deep we are good, and we feel love, and that maybe this love is something that connects us, or maybe the love is something that makes us human, and also, yeah, that's what he was like that. He was very tolerant and very, I would say, open mind. He always taught me that you have to listen carefully to everybody, and you have to watch people carefully, to be able to understand them, but also to forgive them if they do something that they shouldn't or they're not supposed to. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Tam pani z tyłu.
I think if I say hard enough, then you can hear without any microphone, so it will get also a bit more private, I believe.
Yeah, you can.
Actually, my next question is for you, Mrs. Kieslowska. I'm just sitting and wondering, what is the most difficult part of being daughter of somebody like Krzysztof Kieślowski, of course?
Difficult.
The most difficult.
Yeah.
Because there are also probably the good sides of being daughter of somebody.
A lot.
who is-
A lot of good things.
A lot of good things, but there is also something which has to be difficult
course.
at the same time, I believe.
Well, I never, yes, of course, it was difficult. The main thing that was difficult, but it was in Poland, communist Poland, back when I was not in the high school, but in primary school actually. Everybody hated me. My father was practically, because it was communist time, and my father was, let's say, simply against it. So the teachers and everybody actually hated me at school, and I had a lot of problems with getting good grades. But this was when I was a little child, and I didn't understand what my father was and what he was doing. So at school it was hard, but then it was, of course, more rewarding when I was growing up. And but I think that the difficult thing is that I feel very creative myself, but I never actually let myself create anything. And now I'm trying. Now I'm starting to work. I write screenplays, but just very small, not even small, but just for TV shows. So it's not, and I would never try to write something ambitious and something that I would. Somewhere probably inside me there is something I would like to say, but I would never say it because I know that it's going to be
Compared.
Of course,
Sure,
it's going to
yes.
be compared, and I don't feel like I'm good enough, or so I would never do it. I think that's I never thought about it. Now I'm just starting to think that it was a problem for me when I was younger, but I never realized it
Did
before.
you consider that you might be even better?
No. No, I never thought that, and I know I wouldn't be. But I remember when I went to my father when I was 18 and I didn't know what to do with my life. Actually, I still don't, so it didn't change much. And he said, and I said, what should I do? What do you think I could be good at? And he wanted me. No, he didn't want me, but he said, maybe you could try the editing, because he loved it. He loved editing movies, and his dream actually was that once he stops working as a film director, which he decided he would stop at the end of his life, that he would be an editor. He would have a studio for editing, and he would be some kind of a person who would help young people to edit their movies, and he loved it. So that's what he thought for me, and I never tried. I don't know why, but it's true that this is a difficult part of being a daughter of someone who's very important, and all the other things that might sound like difficult, they are actually very easy. And like, people see you through your father. I changed my name when I got married, so I'm not actually called Kieślowska. I have a different name, so it doesn't matter anymore. But of course, when somebody knows that I'm the daughter of Kieślowski, the people see me differently. But it's not bad. It's nice. It's nice. I seem like a more interesting person than I really am. So I'm sitting here. You ask me questions, and I actually didn't do anything interesting. So that's nice. That's nice. Nothing is very really.
I'm
difficult.
quite surprised about the story about the school part. Like, I was actually convinced that, of course, the grown-up people, so the wife or maybe the family of your father, was like by the government oppressed and maybe some kind of followed and stuff like that during the communism. I wasn't realizing that the pressure and the things that the parents are doing are actually really also like projected on the kids.
Yes,
like, really
very
at
much.
School, like
Very much. I really hated school when I was. Everything changed when I was probably 16 when I went to high school because the system changed in Poland and the government changed and everything. So then it was nice and my father started to work in France, so I started to travel and everything has changed. But when I was in the primary school, I really hated it. And I had really a lot of problems. When you are actually a little kid, you were not ready for it and you don't like it. And I hated my father coming to school for the meetings with the teachers, and he actually was very, well, he hated them as well, of course. So he wasn't very nice. He was saying things that he was not supposed to say at school. So it was even worse. My mother also tried everything, so he doesn't go to school. But sometimes he did, and it was a problem. It was a problem. So I was ashamed that he was my father, and he was also driving a bike, like a bicycle, which was completely out of fashion and out of everything. It was completely bizarre in Poland of the 80s. And I was also ashamed of that. I remember because all my friends had, their fathers had like real job and they had good cars, and my father was driving this bicycle and he took me on the bicycle. Now it's normal, but back then.
almost like in Netherlands.
Yeah, he was like, but it wasn't like that in Poland, and nobody knew about Netherlands anything in the 80s. So when he was driving this bicycle and he was coming to school and talking to my teachers and saying things that I would never say to them, it was a problem. But then it stopped and everything was perfect again. Yeah.
Is there a film of your father's that you most see his signature or unique personality represented in?
Well, actually, it's White. It's the film that you just saw. It's the only film in his whole career, I think, that was supposed to be a little funny. And normally it's not funny at all. And my father was actually a very funny guy. Not in a not like simple way, like he wasn't joking or saying jokes, but he was very ironic and very sarcastic and sometimes incredibly funny. And in this film, I see some jokes. I think that they are not very, actually, how do you say, udane? Well done. I don't think they are well done in the movie. I think he was afraid of, being comic. So he didn't go far enough, I think. But I can see this trait of character of him in this movie. So it's actually, for me, it's the most personal film for me, because I knew him from that, this side of him, this comic side, and like small little jokes and like very delicate jokes, and he was like that. He had this humor in him. But I think that he was a little bit shy making this movie and showing those jokes, let's say, because they are not that funny in the movie. When he was talking, for example, I remember that he was telling us a few jokes from this movie, and they were before he made it. And we were laughing, all of us were laughing, because the way that he was telling them, and that he actually found this idea that the guy would be playing on the, I don't know how the comb. And he was so proud of it, and we were proud of it, that he's actually funny. But it's not that funny in the movie. It's a shame for me, but it's, yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. We have another one here.
Yes, thank you. I have a lot of admiration for your father's films, and it's some time ago, it's many decades ago that I saw a movie.
Yeah.
So it's such a special moment. And what I felt about White, because we like to go to the movies, but the movies nowadays are very long.
Yeah.
And so this is short.
Yeah, it's
and
short.
I think your father's work is very concrete and it's abstract at the same time. I find that a very poignant quality. But what I want to ask you is how do you look at these movies and how do you look in White at the pigeons? Because I think there he tries to make jokes with it, with the sounds,
Yeah.
because they are meaningful, but also with the pigeons shitting.
Well, that's what I said. I find this film very well funny. The truth is, I didn't see it for a while. I saw it, I think, 20 years ago, White. So a long time ago. All the other films I saw recently, because they were shown in different, events. But this one, I just saw short scenes from it. But in general, I think that my father was exactly like you said. He was in the same time concrete and abstract, and concrete and very somehow metaphysical person. So when you were on one hand, he wanted to be how do you say stolarz, carpenter. That was his dream actually. But he said that he actually built a lot of things from wood at the countryside because we have a country house. And he loved it, and he said that it was actually his, dream work, not movies. But he's unable to make the straight angle with two pieces of wood. It never happened to him to make a real straight angle. So he cannot be a carpenter. So he makes movies. Of course, it was kind of a joke, but somehow it's true also about him. It's that. On one hand, he was very precise, and all those scenes where, for example, the girl is putting the sugar into the tea, and it takes, and they were, with their watches, they were shooting this scene for quite some time because they wanted that this action takes 7 seconds and not 6, not 8, because my father wanted 7. And so they were trying to put a special sugar, they're trying different kinds of sugars, different kinds of tea, so that it takes 7 seconds. So he was so concentrated on those scenes. And in the same time, the scene is very metaphysical. Maybe because it takes 7 seconds, maybe if it took 6, maybe it wouldn't be metaphysical, I don't know. But this is a paradox of, I think, of my father as a person, but also about his cinema, is that on one hand you feel connected to the story, to the characters, but on the second level, you were just flying somewhere high. And I guess that's why we all watch it again and again, because of this level of thinking that takes us somewhere deep inside of us. I don't know.
Yes, thank you. I would like to say something. We have also today, we are very happy you are with us, Marta, and we have also here Benjamin Heisel. He was the personal translator of your father, and I am very happy that you can meet today and you can talk each other. Did you meet him before?
No.
Do you know?
No, we didn't.
They never met.
We never met. My first memory of yours is that he wanted to buy a camera for you. Because you wanted to be a photographer.
I was.
Yes, and that's what I remember right now. But because we were at Schiphol when he was asking me for some help to find a place to buy the camera for your future.
Yes, he bought a camera. I wanted to be a photographer, but just because I wanted to be something that wouldn't be a film director. And photographer seemed like, you know, a very different
No,
story,
that's-
but at the same time the same story. And
It's the link with editing and photography and the image and the meaning of the image
Yeah.
and yeah.
so I went to school in Paris and I finished photography school,
Yeah.
and I was never a photographer
No.
afterwards, but I touched a lot of different jobs and professions,
Yeah.
actually, not even jobs, but professions. And I think that somehow saying that it was difficult to choose a direction in my life, I think that was a problem, that I was, you know, turning around something that actually interested me from the beginning, but never had courage to actually do it. So I did everything.
One other thing I wanted to add is when you were asked to talk about his character and things like that, and we were looking for words, that he's very precise and with a lot of understanding. I would like to add one word which is, for me, typical for us Kies. Understanding other people, yes, with a lot of respect.
Yes.
Always, first of all, to respect the other person as a person,
Yes.
even when he hated them.
Yes. Well,
We have to be finishing round, but I think we can maybe continue the discussion in the bar. With maybe one more very short final question, because you've been sitting here for a long time waiting.
Okay, hello everyone. I have a question to Mrs. Kislowska. So recently I watched the movie Skazany na Bluesa, and then I saw an interview with the daughter of Richard Riedel, and somebody asked her, what do you remember from your father? And she said only one sentence, which is "Don't be afraid." And I wanted to ask you if you have like this
Yes.
one word or one sentence that you drew from your father
Yes.
for the rest of your life.
Very precise sentence that was actually repeated thousands of times. Be careful, but no. How would you say it in English?
Aware.
Be aware. Be aware. Bądź uważna.
Yeah.
Be aware. I would say so. Bądź uważna, because you speak Polish, so you know what it means. But be aware. So be
Careful.
Be careful with people, be careful with situations. But he said it a million times. And he said, you know, one day you will remember it. And of course I remember it, because he said it so many times that I'm just, you know, I wake up and that's the phrase that I have in my head every day. And I'm trying to.
One very short last question, and then we really have to finish up.
Hello, thank you. In fact, I have one question to Mr. Cezary and Mrs. Marta. For Mr. Lowski, I was extremely touched by your second movie, and it's I have the comparison with this movie to the quantum physics, that we can be in the same place but in totally different positions. And it's really touched me the moment when there is the sentence that mother is called. I had a friend who was running the special school for the kids with some very severe disability. And there was one kid that the parents, they were coming very early the kid had time to dress by itself. And once the teacher asked the parents, like, why you are so cold, why you do not help her? And the parents said that inside their heart is bleeding, but they know that someday they will die, and their kid will stay in the world, who is in fact very brutal. And they don't have connection, like there will be no one who will connect them and help them in this world. And I think, and you can tell if it is that your movie is as well leaving us with this question, like, what will be when the mother dies? And as well, the second question to Mrs. Marta, like, for me this movie shows like a snowball, like how we start from some mental problems, which was like impotence, because very often I remember one of the psychologists said that men with some impotence problems, they will go to the exorcist faster than will go to the psychologist, psychiatrist, or sexologist.
Yeah.
Which in fact very often it is connected to the mental problems. And for me, it's like, do you know what was your...
Prosimy o pytanie. We would like to...
Yes, I'm going to the question. Do you know, like, what is your father's opinion about telling about men's health issues?
Please.
I have no idea. I mean, about the impotence, I have no idea. What was his opinion about it?
About, you know, mental.
But mental.
Yes.
Well, I think I only know his personality, and I know that he was someone who struggled a lot with some kind of sadness and also physical health problems that he wouldn't tell anyone about, and he would actually hide it from me, from my mother. That's why he died so early. So I think that the question is very right. He was someone who wanted to hide those problems to the world.
I really have to
Give us an answer.
go on.
That's-
Yeah, but you can ask the question, but we have to leave the room. So I hope we can continue the discussion
Downstairs. Downstairs we
because
will be
there's another
there.
movie I think waiting for the show.
And I would like to thank you very much. We have no flowers, but
Thank you.